In these moments, you and the rookie are one, feeling an identical set of emotions as you both simultaneously recover from what just happened and prepare for what's coming ahead. Halo 3 ODST has been an odd thing for me to talk about. As much as I love the Halo franchise, ODST is a game I have, until recently, spent very little time with. And I've seen all of the praise this game gets, that it has a great soundtrack that sets up a masterfully artistic tone as you wander through New Mombasa at night. But drawing upon my past experiences with the game, the most I could do when I heard somebody say this is, yeah, sure, I guess. But now, with a fresh set of hours spent playing the game, hunting for achievements for a different video series I have, I feel I can now give a more detailed perspective on how Halo ODST stacks up as an entry into my favorite franchise. To start, I really like the way this game takes place between Halo 2 and 3, and how it brings us to a more human level with the war against the Covenant. Conceptually, there isn't a single thing this game didn't have going for it, other than the fact it was originally intended to be a DLC. But every concept behind this game is completely full game viable. From what I understand, the tension between Bungie and Microsoft Studios was growing, and that Bungie was looking to leave Halo behind, but was contractually obligated to deliver more Halo content. And feel free to correct me or give me more detail about this in the comments. I know you all love to do that, and I'm not an expert at looking at all of this. But regardless, when I'm playing the result of this situation, I can't help but wish this project received the full game treatment. And this should be seen as both praise and criticism of this game. There are aspects of this experience that are amazing, and I wish it had been fleshed out and utilized more. And there are also things that are noticeably rushed and would have benefited from the resources provided from being treated as a more important project. But let's start with the good stuff. The most obvious W this game has going for it is the soundtrack. Marty was cooking with this one, and we didn't think it was possible. I mean, I didn't think it was possible, but even more so in this game than the other Halo games. Halo ODST's soundtrack is integral to the experience of the gameplay. Leaving a mission where another little piece of the mystery is unraveled, and as your mind as the player is working to connect these dots, the game loads back into New Mombasa, and your camera faces the last landmark you saw in the mission as a musical cue drives the emotional feedback into the player. In these moments, you and the rookie are one, feeling an identical set of emotions as you both simultaneously recover from what just happened and prepare for what's coming ahead. It's just masterful. And while the music is amazing at helping the player feel connected to the experience, the story itself can be more of a mixed bag. You play as a non-spoken, non-named rookie just joining a new squad of ODSTs who have been deployed to drop and help prevent the destruction of the city of New Mombasa and potentially the planet. In the intro cutscene is understood that Oni has a larger objective in New Mombasa, but that's classified to these soldiers. As we see in Halo 2, the Covenant cruiser makes a jump while in the city's airspace, and its shockwave causes a large amount of damage, as well as disrupting the landing of our crew. You, the rookie, wake up 6 hours later in a random part of the city. Darkness is set in, and you now need to find the rest of your squad in order to carry out the mission. The story of the game unfolds as each mission takes the form of a flashback, triggered by artifacts the rookie finds from the team's exploits throughout the city. They give insight to the team's dynamic and relationships, the most important of these being between leader Gunnery Sergeant Buck and Oni operative Veronica Dare.
I've seen hundreds of these things today. Why is this one so important?
This engineer knows what the Covenant's after. If I could safely capture more of them, I would. What they know could win the war.
Oh.
You haven't killed any of them, have you?
No! Well, maybe one or two.
Nice work.
How was I supposed to know?
They appear to have dated or been involved in the past, and it seems to have ended abruptly to say the least, accompanied by Dutch, Mickey, and Romeo, who seem much more like comedic relief than anything of substance or emotion.
Lord, I didn't train to be a pilot. Tell me I don't have any more flying to do today. So, was that a yes or a no? Amen.
To keep the summary brief, along the way we learned that Dare's classified mission involved these random floating things seen with the Covenant. Veronica had been informed that they were in the city, but that they're held captive or enslaved by the Covenant and hold tons of critical data. Capturing one could turn the tides of the war towards humanity. Originally being split up, as they find each other through the missions, Buck, Dutch, Romeo, and Mickey steal a Covenant dropship and plan to leave the city, but go back to rescue Veronica and aid in her mission.
Important than that carrier.
My orders. And Buck, call me Captain.
Mickey, turn around. Find a safe place to set us down.
What? Why?
I lost something. Now I know where to find her.
Where they run into the Rookie, who has pieced together the events of the night and found Veronica in the Dative Hive, where they have found an engineer and are planning to take it back to UNSC for research and use. After fighting their way out of the Dative Hive, moving down a dangerous highway, fighting scarabs and enemy tanks along the way, the crew make it to a courtyard, which they clear so the others in the dropship can come pick them up. After some tough fighting, they make it away with the engineer in custody.
Come on! Damn it! Move!
Oh, nuts. What can I say? It was a hell of a night.
The story itself is fine. It's cool to follow this mystery vibe and experience the time after the drop in pieces as everything is slowly put together. The implications that the narrative has on the larger war that we experience with Master Chief is amazing to see in a spin-off like this. Pair that with the majestic moments created by the pairing of music and scenery that feels way too good for a 360 game, and you've got a winning combination. I truly see why this game resonated with so many Halo fans. Playing it now, being older, and I feel that Buck and Dare's relationship could have been handled better, particularly with the dialogue between them.
Oh, so full of big Oni secrets, couldn't even give a guy a yes or no answer.
That's not fair.
Oh, you got that right.
I never thought I'd see you again.
Yeah? Well, here I am.
It feels that it tries too hard to be witty and funny and not give us enough substance and emotion. But at the same time, you can tell that this is supposed to be the narrative's biggest emotional driver in these moments where you play as Buck talking to Veronica. It simultaneously feels important, but like it's supposed to be a joke. And this might just be because we don't spend enough time with the relationship to fully appreciate its shift and the nuance between these characters. But after taking a reflective look, any issues that I have with the story of this game end up being symptoms of the larger problem that I do have with this game. I mentioned earlier how conceptually this game as an idea is perfect. Playing as an ODST in a franchise where you're normally the strongest super soldier imaginable. It would be a great way to ground the player in this universe and remind them of what's at stake in this conflict, providing us with a perspective of one of the soldiers Chief regularly fights alongside of in the larger battles. But ODST falls a bit short of doing this. And while in some ways we do get worthwhile insight into the human experience of the Covenant War, again particularly through the characters interacting with each other, there were just so many ways this could have been represented in gameplay that just aren't there, such as the physical size of the Covenant. I think they should appear larger through the eyes of an ODST than a Spartan, but I don't think there's a difference in how they look versus Halo 3. The damage the rookie outputs and can receive isn't balanced like a game meant to ground the player as someone considerably weaker than a Spartan. Even on Legendary, encountering the Covenant in ODST comes with the same feeling as it does in the other Halo games. If you utilize Plasma for shields and the pistol to finish, any encounter this game throws at you can be ran straight into. As a player, the Covenant don't scare you or stress you out. At most, you may run up onto a plaza containing a handful of brutes and feel inconvenienced, but not stressed. Doubling this with another common complaint we see against ODST, that there's a lack of stealth in a game setting place at night as a protagonist that is supposed to be weaker than what we're used to. ODST should feel more like The Last of Us in the way that enemy encounters deliver a certain amount of stress to the player. Realizing that you've just stumbled into an enemy patrol should be borderline scary because you're not even sure if you're strong enough to survive the encounter. Whether this is done through ammo management, enemy health, or lack of player health, these encounters should be difficult and tense, often making stealth both pursued by the player and offered by the developer. But here, none of these things are present. Enemies are not difficult in any meaningful way, and stealth is not advantageous in any situation the game puts you in. It just feels like a huge missed opportunity. And that's where ODST being a DLC really bugs me. Not in its size, length and playtime, and feeling of a rushed story. It's the fact that these ideas are great and deserved gameplay that was handcrafted to this experience. I can't play this game and not think about how great it could have been if given the time. The reason Halo 3's gameplay is just strapped to this ODST story was due to a lack of full commitment to the game's concepts, because no matter how you cut it, this isn't a full game, it's an add-on. And if you liked my thoughts here on ODST, then you'll probably like to see what I had to say about Halo Reach, Bungie's other story that really expands upon what ODST tried to do. And that video is on screen now. Thanks for watching.